Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Black Accountant. It's your boy Mo. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments of any kind of content you want to see going forward. So today I want to continue a little bit on that cycle of what I was talking about on Monday, where I talked a little bit about debt consolidation, or just rebuilding credit overall. So today I want to talk a little bit more about debt consolidation and some options there about how to overcome some of that debt, why you would want to do that, etc., etc. So typically speaking, when you've been using your credit cards a lot and you don't really make your payments on time, or you tend to carry a balance, you start to really accrue debt. And that debt can actually become detrimental to you down the line when you start going into your professional life, when you actually just live life normally, because you start being qualified for certain credit cards. Your credit score starts to drop. And then when you have a low credit score, you're not really able to like rent the apartment that you want, buy the house that you want. And sometimes it affects your job options. It could affect your career. It could affect many different aspects of your life. So you want to make sure that you maintain these things to the best of your ability. So if you've already fallen into the trap of the debt trap, and you're actually like trying to figure out how to get out of that, there's a lot of different articles. There's a lot of things you can find online that tell you how to rebuild your credit, and you need to understand that it is actually a long process. It's not something that happens overnight. So if you've already fallen into that trap and you're kind of working your way out there, one of the options that you might want to consider is consolidating your debt. So how would you really go about doing that? Well, there's a couple of different ways. The ones that most people are generally aware of would be to start budgeting. And I actually have in the past done a video on budgeting, but when you budgeting is something that you can't necessarily teach in its entire capacity, because everybody has a different budgeting need, and there's so many different ways because it needs to be planned with that specific individual. You can get tips and tricks online. I can show like a basic gist of how to break down expenses and how to break down like your income. But at the end of the day, it's up to you how you really want to control your spending. So there are three main ways that I can think of that I'm just going to cover in this video. And the first one would be a debt consolidation loan. This is usually the first option that a lot of people default to, because it's probably the easiest option, and it just makes managing your debt a lot easier, especially if you have a lot of different balances on different cards. A debt consolidation loan could be really helpful, because essentially what it is that you're taking out a big loan to cover all of those debts, and now all that is paid off and you're just paying that specific loan. So you're making one payment every month rather than making several payments to different creditors. You're making one payment to one creditor. So debt consolidation loans are great if you can find a debt consolidating loan that has a lower interest rate than whatever you're currently paying. If it's higher, it's kind of like, what's the point? Because you're paying more money in the long run and in the short run, and it's just not an overall good deal. So that's one option that you could really look into. The second option would be to go through a debt consolidation company. So debt consolidation companies actually do a lot of the negotiating for you. What they essentially do is they create a savings account for you where you make payments on a monthly basis to them, and they put it into the savings account. Once you have enough savings, typically around 6 months worth of savings, then they would make a phone call, or like they start making phone calls to your creditors and try to negotiate better interest rates for you. And then once they make that negotiation, they use the savings that you just created to pay that off. And then they take a cut themselves, and they generally have savings of anywhere between 20 to 35%, which is actually really great if you don't want to deal with the headache. But there are a couple of cons to using a debt consolidation company. Reason one being that their fees are actually somewhat exorbitant. It could be anywhere between 18 to 25% of your enrolled debt. So let's say I have $100, 25% of that would be $25. So for every $100 of debt I have, I'm paying them $25. That's a lot. So that could be one of the main crutches there. Another problem with debt consolidation companies is if they fail to negotiate, you're kind of stuck with the mess that's been created, because while you have a debt consolidation agreement in place, you're actually not making any payments to your creditors. You're just making direct payments to the debt consolidation company in the hopes that they're able to negotiate for you, and then you make that payment. So in the meantime, you could already start having a lower credit score because you're not making any payments. So you're already missing out on payment deadlines. At the same time, you're paying the debt consolidation company, and at the same time, you're paying these settlement fees, and it's an overall headache. So if you can stick it out and let's just make your payments yourself, I think DIY, the third option, doing it yourself, is probably the best option, because you can actually call your creditors and they're actually more willing to negotiate with you, especially when you're either in collections or approaching collections, because they want to make sure that they're able to collect their money without having to sell your debt. So you can make the phone call. Let's say you have Wells Fargo, call up the account, say, hey, like I'm not able to make my monthly payments on time, or like, can you minimize the amount in the short term, or here's like a full-on one-time payment that I can make to just close off my account. There's so many different things that you can do to really start consolidating your debt or managing your debt so that you can move on from that situation. So I really just wanted to talk about that debt consolidation option and then just those considerations, because from what I've seen, a lot of people in my circle don't generally know about those options, and then just continue to accrue more debt onto their accounts or on their credit account. So let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas or options, or anything you know about debt consolidation, or anything you know about finance or like that kind of management. I'd love to hear it. Viewers would like to hear it. So if you know, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, and also comment in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video.